What's shaking, guys? Hey, this is Rich from Operation Bets with Nets. I want to welcome everybody to this week's podcast, America's Finest Heroes and their journey to real therapy. Today we've got exciting show. We're doing things a little bit differently. One of our captains, he's kind of shy and really doesn't feel comfortable on the camera and stuff, which is, believe me, I've run across a lot of people like that. But we're bringing his bet on because Isaac's story is really cool, and I want him to share his experience with you guys. He's going to be on about 8:30, give or take a few minutes, because he's right in the middle of taking an exam for school, so which is awesome. Education is a great thing. But the two folks we're going to bring on is going to be Walter, one of our captains here in Virginia, and one of my right-hand men there, and Michael Dyer, retired Navy guy, and they're going to talk about their trip. So without any further ado, let me bring these guys in. Hold on a second. Hey, I see you guys. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I was just telling everybody, what we're going to be doing today. And hey, let me see here. Hey, JC Virginia Beach, what's up, lady? So just so folks know, we will see some of your comments, and some of your comments I won't see. It'll only be on Facebook. So if you're in our group, I don't think we can see what's going on, dude. Ripping lips, fishing. That's one of our captains, Ed Jenkins, another one of our Operation Bets with Nets captains in state lead in Tennessee. We got Tasha up from the James River. We got Hook and Hammocks, man. We've got people popping in, and that's awesome. So we're gonna start off talking with Walt and Mike, and then Isaac, he's gonna be on, like I said, about 8:30 or so. So which is cool. So just to let you guys know, we got a lot of moving parts going on, at least here in the Hampton Roads area. I just submitted in. We're going to use our wheelchair boat as a float. Norfolk always does a big, huge lighting of the city, big holiday parade. And so we're going to try to get in on that. So if anybody from our area, you want to volunteer and either walk holding the signs, or you want to, Chris Lee, there's my boy. Or you want to ride on the boat being towed by me, then let me go. Hey, what's going on, John? So let's talk about your guys' trip. So Mike, let me ask you, first of all, tell us who you are, what you did, and obviously you can't get any better because you're Navy. Go Navy.
Well, my claim to fame is I did 28 years of active duty service, and I spent exactly 1 day on a ship voluntarily. So as far as the Navy goes, I'm kind of an oddball out because I know you're looking at me like, how the hell did that happen? I was a Seabee in the Navy, did construction work, and my final tour was up at Camp David, the presidential retreat, and enjoyed every day of my service, but I've definitely enjoyed part 2 of my life as well. And your organization, I can't say enough good things about it. And Walt was a great boat captain as well.
See, that's opposite of what everybody else tells me. They say the only way Walt can catch bait is if he sticks his face in the water and he friggin' bites at the bluegill. No, that's awesome. So before we get into your guys' story, and right on with the Seabees, I used to train the Seabees. What are you doing since retirement?
I've been very fortunate. As much as I love my Navy career, I went right into a career as a teacher. I teach NJROTC over at Granby High School in Norfolk, and I've been doing it this is my 13th year teaching. I have 2 more years, and I'll wrap up my second career. And at that point, my wife and I are just going to do full-time retirement.
Oh, right on. Hey, well, I saw a couple else guys come in. Andrew, one of our captains here in the Hampton Roads area, and Eagle Eyes Juan Tienda, my state lead from Texas. Welcome, guys. You know, when I retired, I tried to do the same thing with the junior ROTC, but I was a little bit thick on the belly when I retired. So, you know, they still had those standards and blah, blah, blah. Which is I can understand. I can actually understand, you know. And then I gave up on that. But I think I would have enjoyed that because I love to teach.
Oh yeah, the intrinsic reward that you get from it, Rich, is I mean, we've all been in the military. We all experience that sailor that comes up, or that active duty person that you're working with, and that mentorship. But to have a large group of young people that you see through high school, and then they go off and do great things in the world, there's nothing like it in the world.
Oh, I bet. And that's fantastic. That's fantastic. So you were CB. Okay. Well, for those people that don't know you, why don't you share your little Navy background?
So I retired after 27 and a half years in the Navy, and I was an independent duty corpsman. And
what's a corpsman? Some people may not know what a corpsman is.
Well, I was basically the sole medical provider for the small boy Navy, if you will, on destroyers, with one other corpsman helping me run all of medical and dental for about 300 people on destroyers.
So you were the lead pecker checker.
Well, okay, if you want to look at it that way. I just want you to know I have the power in my hands. Nobody else does. I own it.
I'm glad you said that here and you don't say that in jail. All right. Go ahead.
So yeah, the last thing I did in the Navy was I stood up the Riverine Force, which was kind of dirt Navy, if you will, and part of the dirt Navy, and has since gone away. So I stood them up and they're gone. They combine with coastal warfare now and do a lot of the security around the bases and what have you. But loved every day of my Navy career. And when they threw me out, it was, I fought tooth and nail to stay. So, but that's basically what I did in the Navy.
Right on. Awesome. Well, it's great to have a bunch of Navy folks on the platform. Folks know as well, I'm retired operations specialist, 20 years Navy. Go Navy, beat Army. And so all right. So Mike, let me ask you, number one, how did you hear about our organization, and how did you go about getting on our list for a trip?
Great question. Believe it or not, I was getting a haircut. My barber that I used to go to at the exchange has retired from the exchange and now come out, and she actually worked closer to me here in Chesapeake. And I went to the barber shop and I was waiting for her to get an open chair, and you had a pamphlet out there, or there was a pamphlet there. And I thought, well, that looks pretty neat. Let me check that out. So I read through it and I thought, well, what a great organization. Took it home with me and got online and signed up, and very happy. 2 days later, maybe 3 days later at the most, Walt contacted me and said, hey, we're ready to take you when you want to go. And I was like, wow, this is great. Because nowadays, even to have somebody get back in touch with you at all, even if you're paying them, you're surprised. So to have an organization like this where it's all absolutely free, and it's great customer service, it was a welcome surprise. And I got with Walt, told him when I could come out, and we set up a date. And I told him I was an early riser, and he was there on time, ready to go.
So let me ask you, the barbershop, was that the one on Battlefield Boulevard?
It is indeed, yeah.
I've been going there since 2000. 14 or 15. My barber, she retired from there, Miss Kim.
Okay.
And then there's a lady like her chair, and it might be the same one because that's who I go to now. As soon as you go in, it's that first chair right to the right of you, not against the wall, but right to the. As soon as you go in, it's the first chair you see.
I know what you're talking about, but Mion is my barber, and she's in the back in the corner now.
I know what you're talking about. Okay, right on. And don't you love those massages and the
hot
towel and
yep.
I love it. I love it.
Can't beat it.
Nope. And so so I put those pamphlets there. Good. So I'm glad you found it. So, Walt, how'd you go about coordinating with real quick, Mike, how important was that somebody reached out to you, in a very short period of time?
Very important. And like I said, in today's world, it's rare that you get good customer service, I'll call it, let alone, feedback when you've signed on and said, hey, I want some information or whatever the case may be. And to have an organization like this that ended up being such a great organization and have them almost instantly get back in touch with you and say, hey, we're ready to take you when you want to go. It was a welcome blessing.
Awesome. So, Walt, share with us your little process.
Well, I usually go to the spreadsheet, take a look at it, and see who needs to run or go on a trip or I will usually make a phone call. And if I can't get in touch with somebody on the phone, I'll usually, because I have their phone number, I'll also text them at the same time. I didn't have to do that with Mike. He answered the phone right away and we got to talking. We did schedule. And one of the things I like to do if it's scheduled a little bit out and there's time in between, usually the day before or close to the day that we're going, I'll call and make sure or text to make sure that everything's good to go and that we're still doing the same thing. So everybody's on the same page with where we're going to go fishing. The other thing is I usually try and find out what the background is of the person that I'm taking out, so I can get an idea of what to expect while we're on the boat. Really important, because if somebody's never thrown a line before, that changes what I focus on as a captain. Bluegill fishing, believe it or not, there's people who've never done it that we take out or can't throw a rod for some reason or another to go on, to even just catch bluegill, if you will, or bait. So I like to get all that information up front so we have an idea of what's going to happen on the trip. And then once I get there with the boat and we get it in the water and we get going fishing, I like to actually just sit and listen. Put the boat where we're going to go fishing. Spot lock's a great thing. And once you get on spot lock to get some bluegill, it's easy picking there. But that's how it starts. We go get some bait and then we run from there.
Right on. So we had a couple other folks come in. Andrew's there. I said Juan and Wesley. What's going on, buddy? Wesley's one of our captains in Tennessee. So all right. So and you're right. We've seen folks that just can't don't know how to fish for bluegill or stuff like that to get bait. I mean, we know Andrew. Andrew likes catching trees for bait. I say that because he's on, but he can't bust my chops back. So that's good. So
I'm really good at bluegill. It's the catfish part that I have a problem with.
You didn't have a problem when we went.
You have the problem. You have the problem when it's time to catch a catfish when we're like doing tournaments.
Right.
And but it's funny it's normally when I Don and Derek Barton, our captains down in Moyock, every time I used to call Derek, he'd get on a fish. And so so I do the same thing. I'll call Walt. How's it going? Oh man. As a matter of fact, I talked to him the other day. He was running a trip. He says, reel just went down. I'm grabbing it now. And so I'm like, ooh, that must be good luck. But when I go out with Walt, all I catch is a cold. No, we have a great time. And then when, like you said, we've had people that can't even throw a rod, that throw out that little bobber and fish for that bait. But that's okay. That's all part of the experience. What's up, Stevie Steve? So it's all part of that experience. I did a trip last week, and Christina, our events coordinator, she's never trolled. She just would normally bank fish, and we were on it. We were on it all day, and then she caught her PB of 36 pounds, which was really cool. But so you guys share with me. All right, so you communicated, you got everything wrong. You're showing up to the ramp. All right, walk me through it. Walk me and the rest of everybody out there on YouTube and Facebook land. Share that from the minute you guys showed up to the minute you guys pulled up chocks and headed home.
Well, I will say Walt is a great captain and very self-sufficient. I asked him, is there anything I can do? And he said, you just stand here, we'll get you on the boat and we'll get out fishing. And that's exactly what we did. We got out fishing. We went to one spot to catch bait and wasn't hitting a lot. So we went to another one, caught, I thought, a pretty good amount of bait, and then went trolling for the catfish. And for me, it was a great day. I think any day is a good day fishing. It was very relaxing throughout the time. As Walt said, a great listener and also a great talker. Enjoyed learning a little bit about him and his career. And the opportunity just to get out on the water. As a young child, I fished quite a bit. We would go up to the American River every year in California and do 2 weeks of fishing on the American River with my dad and my brother. But I really hadn't done a lot of fishing as an adult. So this was kind of getting back to my roots as a young person. And Walt did a great job instructing me on things that I didn't know, or trying to help me through things that I needed to remember and things. And we did a little bit, I guess that's trolling, right? The way we were doing at the end there. Okay. And it was great because I got a hit that I'd never felt a fish that big before. And when we finally got it pulled up, it was a big fish that I'd never had as big before. So it was a 20 some odd pound catfish. And for me, that's the biggest fish I've ever reeled in.
So how'd that make you feel? What mentally went through your mind when all of a sudden that rod went down and off it went?
I will tell you that fishing, as much as I enjoy the relaxation part of it, for me, it has always been that reeling in. You get a hit and you start reeling in and you can feel that fish fighting or the weight of the fish or both. And then you're, pulling it in, and that feeling to me, that's just like amazing. So to have something on my pole that was obviously, it felt like even before I got it up, bigger than I'd ever had before, was amazing. And then when it actually came up and we got it in the net and got it onto the boat, it was like, holy mackerel, that thing's huge. So it was a great sense of accomplishment. And then he waited for me, and I realized that was, at least for me, that was a huge fish.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What how'd that feel for you, Walt? Getting them to that point.
Well, there's no greater joy as far as I'm concerned as a captain as my passenger actually getting fish while we're out there. And on my boat, it's kind of a dance because all the rods are in the back And so everybody, we got 6 rods out in the back of the boat, and you've got to get, and I land all my fish in the front of the boat because there's nothing in the front of the boat. You can put it up on the deck, and you can have the ability to do anything you want in the front of the boat with it. So it's a coordination event that takes place that Mike and I had to kind of manage, walk up the side, because you got that center console, and with rods and rod holders and what have you don't have a lot of room to maneuver in order to get it, and then to get it in the boat and get it up on the deck is always fun to see. Now, it's my objective all the time to actually get somebody on fish, but I could tell you, if we had not gotten Michael on fish that day, we'd have gone the next day or the next day. We'd have rescheduled until I could have got him on fish, which I have done. I took a young lady out 3 times before we actually got her on some catfish. So, and I ended up buying her a little rod because she couldn't handle an open face. So I bought her a Zepco real quick, took that out and gave it to her so that we could, so she could have something that she could practice with and actually not have to have use a whole lot of hand-eye coordination with to basically cast. So, that's the absolute best thing that can happen on the boat. And I'm so happy that every time I take somebody, that when they catch a fish, that's the reason why I do it. I don't care about any other part of it. I don't need to catch any more fish. I got plenty of them in the boat.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm the exact same way. I don't when I'm out there with a vet, or I'm just taking a friend out, may not even be a vet. I don't even touch the rods. I mean, I'll grab it, make sure the fish is on, then I'll hand them the rod, and they're like, man, it's your turn. Hey, I can fish anytime I want. Especially now that, and matter of fact, for those guys who've been following with what we've been doing with our wheelchair boat, we are building our second wheelchair boat, and one's going to stay down here in the Hampton Roads area for myself or any of our captains in the local area to use to take vets out. And so we're putting it in the water tomorrow. I'd say we're about 75-80% done with it. But now tomorrow is going to be our first launch of it to really test everything. We got the ramp up, and thank you. Hey, I appreciate you guys saying that. Make sure, yeah, it helps us. Make sure you smash that thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. But we're gonna do some fishing with it tomorrow, and then we still got some things that I got to put the wheelchair mounts in and stuff like that. Then we got little odds and ends to do it, and then I'll get with Andrew. Andrew's finishing up some stuff. Yep, Andrew said I got to get the rest done, and then we got to put the sidewalls up so we can get it wrapped. And then we'll have a big launching for it, and invite the media down like they've done with us before, and just really putting her into the fleet of Operation Vets with Nets so we can get some massive use out of her. So when you weren't fishing, rather when you weren't reeling in a fish, what were you guys doing?
Enjoying the peace and quiet and talking.
Yeah. I will tell you, as I won't say non-fisherman, but a guy that hasn't fished in a while, I learned quite a bit from Walt, from the different pieces and parts, different types of weights that I'd never been accustomed to before, and how we were going to do certain things. So I learned quite a bit from him. I also enjoyed just talking to him about his career and he as a person, and life in retirement was very enjoyable as well. So he says he would have taken me again, and I'm sure he would have, but I would have enjoyed that day regardless if I caught that catfish or not, because it it's one of those things you feel appreciated as a vet when somebody says thank you. So if somebody's saying thank you by taking you out fishing, that's an even greater accomplishment or a greater sense of, wow, somebody appreciated what I did in the service. So it was just a very, very nice day for me, and a great way to spend it. And our weather was great as well. So.
Oh man, Danny, you missed it. We were talking about go Navy, beat Army. So you said you learned some new things. What are some of the things, like, did you learn new things about the equipment, about what are some of the things that you learned?
Some of the flat weights, I don't remember what you called the name of them, but they were flat, long weights.
Your drift weights.
Dragger weights. I had never seen, heard, or used them before. And then when he explained that, they don't get caught on the bottom and they keep the bait down there and everything, it was like, well, that makes sense, but I'd never been exposed to it. So that was a pretty neat concept that I'd never even heard of before, that definitely something I learned.
Yeah, and there's plenty of drift weights out there, and you got a lot of good drift weights, different companies doing them. But like Walt and I, we run the same drift weights, Carolina Lake weights, and we just love them to death. And the owners, Rebecca and Jamie, are huge supporters of Operation Vets when that's, and it's great when you have partnerships like that. So what else? So you learned about utilizing drift weights. What else did you learn? And coming from some with a military background, and having that conversation with another military member, what kind of peace of mind did it give you while you were out there learning the different things and having those conversations?
I think Walt being a retired senior chief and myself being a retired chief, it's the camaraderie there. It's that connection stays with you way after retirement. And so it's almost like having a comfortable conversation with somebody you've known before, but you've never met before. And that's what it was kind of like for me with Walt, that, hey, he's been there, done that, went through the initiation process, got his anchors, and now he's doing great things for people that were veterans too, and giving back to that community. So for me, it was a very relaxing and enjoyable experience, because it was almost like going out with a friend that I never knew.
That's actually a very true statement. And I know that most of the folks that are vets that are running, are part of this organization, feel almost the very same way. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't matter what service you're from or anything like that. It doesn't matter. There's a standard that basically applies to all who've been in the military, that's understood right from the beginning. Yep. So, the conversation basically can flow very easily based on just that alone. It's kind of looking at somebody in uniform and judging their fruit salad.
Yeah.
They've been to a number of places that I have not been to. Now I can talk to them. Yeah. So
I got a bunch of fruit salad. Oh my gosh. So that's cool. Now, and what I don't want to leave out, and the folks I don't want to leave out, and I've talked to some vets, and they saw a lot of value added as well as, and we have some of our captains that aren't vets, but respect our military and respect what our vets have gone through to do, and that's why they've joined our organization. And a lot of times with our podcast here, we got the vet on, and then we got the captain who was not a vet, and they said the camaraderie that they built during that was phenomenal. And that vet really appreciated that somebody who did not go through what they might have gone through still thinks enough of them to give back.
Yeah.
To That's what I say. America's finest heroes is our military.
I was there was another organization. This was years back. I had just gotten back from Iraq, and they offered a week-long trip on the Bend River in Oregon, doing whitewater rafting. And all of the whitewater rafting people, none of them were veterans, but I think everybody on that trip appreciated that they were willing to give a week of their life up for somebody that was a veteran just because we were veterans.
Right on. All right. Well, hey, it is 8:30, and we're going to continue this conversation, but we're going to welcome Isaac here. He just popped up. Isaac, could you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, buddy. So, man, when you said about 8:30, you were spot on.
Sweet, I'll take it.
So, when I called you earlier, and we'll introduce you, and we'll let you introduce yourself. But tell us about yourself first of all. Tell us who you are and what branch of service you served in.
Well, howdy, nice to meet everyone. I'm Isaac Gilbert. I'm a disabled.
We're getting some lag there. I think we lost him.
Uh-oh. He's frozen.
He is frozen, and he's holding his nose like he's about to sneeze and poop his pants.
At the same time.
At the same time.
If he's Army, he probably could do that.
Absolutely can.
I'm from the United States Army.
Oh, man.
On my phone.
Yep. I don't know. I'm going to call him back and tell him to drop out and then come on back in. We've had this once before. All right, hold on. Let me call him back.
Give him a big hooah.
Yeah. Hooah.
Hooah.
Hey, this is Rich. You got a major lag. Hey, this is Rich. You got a. Okay, all right. Let's see here. Major lag. Why don't you log completely out and then try to come back in. If you can come back on your phone, it's better.
See.
Gotcha.
That.
All right, you got it, buddy. All right.
I just want to point out that all the Navy technology was good. Army, not so much. A good rivalry, though. The Army-Navy game is always a good one.
Absolutely it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely it is.
Unfortunately, they've got the trophy.
Yeah, they've had it for a while now.
But that's okay. We'll get it back. He's going to try to come in with his phone. All right, let's get him back. All right. Oh, well, you got a lot better picture there.
Oh, man. I just actually, quite literally today, bought a new laptop for college. This one's old. This one's old.
I was going to say, how are you in school with an old laptop?
Oh, man. It's been a struggle. I couldn't even submit papers or nothing. Today.
So before we get going, what are you going to school for?
I'm doing HVAC. I started it 2 years ago, and I'm halfway through my degree. Okay. But then I got caught up in HVAC, so I kind of couldn't go back. But it's not that wasn't working. That wasn't paying me good because of taxes and everything like that. So I ended up quitting, and I was like, I'm going to go finish my degree. So I'm finishing that up, and then I might do another degree, hopefully in either business or I want to do forensics.
Nice.
Oh, there you. Well, good for you. Yeah. Good for you. I definitely push in education. I know I came out of the Navy and I came in the Navy with just a high school diploma. Mm-hmm. And the time I retired, I mean, I had some classes because going on a 6 to 8 month cruise, you get bored, so you take some classes. But make a long story short, after I retired, probably, let me see here, 4 years after I retired, I decided to go back to school because I wasn't making as much as I knew I could. So I ended up getting my associates, my undergrad, a grad cert, and 2 master's degrees in a 7-year period.
Wow.
That's
And
amazing.
I kind of miss school, but I don't. So
I don't miss the work. I'm learning so many things right now. Like I'm in one of these English classes, and that's not my best subject. And I'm learning AP formats, MYA formats, all that stuff. And it's like, oh man.
You go, boy. You go.
Yeah, and all
Have
my
at it.
classmates just came out of high school, so they're like, "Oh yeah, this is how you do it. This is how you do it." I'm like, "Man, I ain't been in school in forever."
Yeah.
Well, just think about it. You know, I came in '85, retired in 2005, didn't start going back to school to 2009. So I was out of school for a long time.
Oh man.
But awesome, man. You know, great things with you going to school. Now go ahead, go through your introduction again.
Sweet. So I'm Isaac Gilbert. I was in the United States Army for 4 years or 5 years, I believe, 4 years. I got medically retired. Officially, I had to get that through the VA. And yeah, since then, I've just been going in and out of jobs. It was hard. So that's when I decided, you know what, let me get my education. And so that's where I'm at now.
What'd you do in the Army?
I was a 91 Bravo, a wood vehicle mechanic.
A vehicle mechanic. Oh, right on, right on. Yeah, we got a bunch of Army guys in here, but as I said, and you'll hear me, go Navy, beat Army. So, yay. But no, thank you for your service.
Thank you as well.
So share with us how you heard about us, and what you went through to get a trip with us, because your video is excellent video.
Oh, thank you. I had to have Eric take it for me. I got nervous.
Yeah. So you need to share that testimony with everybody on here.
Oh,
But tell us your experience to what we call real therapy.
So Eric, he's a good buddy of mine. We met, I want to say maybe if not a year ago, 2 years ago, through a mutual friend. And when I first met Eric, I didn't like him because he was in my fishing spot. So yeah, I didn't like him. We ended up becoming great friends, and we done a lot of dumb things together. We first started on a kayak, and we made not smart decisions on the kayak. They're not even fishing kayaks, you know? And so we did that. And then he upgraded to a boat. Everything is great. We started fishing with Mad Cats and stuff. And he's told me many times about different operations with veterans or different veteran programs. And I've talked to a few and stuff, but nothing's ever happened. So Eric told me about this one, how he's finally going to be chartering and stuff for you guys. He's like, you should sign up, man. You need to really check it out. And you might be able to fish with me or so. I was like, okay, I'll put in for it. And honestly, within like a week, I got reached out to by somebody. And it threw me off because I have, like, when you called, I have my phone set up to any unknown numbers, just go to voicemail. And so they left a voicemail. I was like, huh? And then the dude, he called me, he told me, hey, I seen your submission. You're in this area, da. Would you be interested? I'm like, absolutely. And then, yeah, Eric reached back out to me. He's like, hey, man, I talked to the guy that he was originally going with. And because you live close by me, I'm taking you out. And, oh, man. Whew. See, I'm in therapy right now for the VA, but it's not the same. To me, like fishing and like aquarium stuff is my therapy mainly. Over there, I tell them what they want to hear and stuff, you know. But actually going out with Eric, what I learned, because he's like best friend ever to me, we talk. We get to know each other personally. We talk, and he's actually somebody that understands what I've been through prior combat and stuff and service. And he's been through, and we connect real great. And we always laugh and have a great time on the river. So I finally got to do that. And I told him, I was like, this is actually a fun program. Like, y'all was quick with it too. I was like, this is the first time anybody that's offered anything for vets actually reached out to me and got back with me, I guess you could say. And I told him, I was like, this everybody needs to know about this. So he asked me, he's like, hey, would you be comfortable with doing the video? I was like, absolutely. I want to tell everybody, like all vets just like me that enjoy fishing, do it. Because I was stationed in Fort Hood, and there was a whole bunch of bass fishing down there. And every Wednesday they had fishing with vets. You could be active service and you could fish with veterans and stuff like that too. So I used to do that all the time with them. So it brought back memories. This one, I had fun. This was probably one of my best days ever.
Now Fort Hood, that's down in
Texas. Fort Hood,
yep,
Texas.
Yep. And we have a very huge, as you know, big Texas chapter down there. We got probably next to Virginia.
Ooh.
Texas is the next biggest state with a lot of captains, and so that's awesome. So so share with us. All right, so now you guys both heard from two different people. So Isaac, to your left, I don't know, left, right,
They are all on my
down in
right,
that
and you're
corner
above
over
me.
there.
Yeah.
Michael is the vet, and Walt, he was the captain. And,
Okay.
And Michael said the same thing, is somebody got back to him real quick.
Oh yeah.
And that's so key, is when, because I know of a lot of organizations where it could take months for people to get a hold of you, if they even do.
There's another fishing organization that provides catfishing stuff, and I can't remember their name. I'll have to talk to Eric, but he's been telling me about that. I think it's like USO Fishing or so, but I'm still waiting for a call. They called me one time, and because my phone goes to voicemail, I gave them calls. I contacted them, reached out to them. Still waiting to hear from them. Like I said, this one, it caught me by surprise how quickly y'all reached back to me. So I'm grateful for that.
And that, you know what, and that's phenomenal. And so tell us. So you met up with Eric, even though you knew Eric.
Yeah.
What share your story to Real Therapy for us.
So Weird Therapy. So originally it was Operation trying to figure out the other boat captains' secrets. You know, I'm not gonna lie, that was the original plan. And then Eric was like, I kind of messed it up, and so it turned out to just be pretty much like another best friends fishing moments, you know. But oh my goodness, we went to this one spot. We got our bait and everything like that. And when we got bait, we pull up to a barge. And oh man, within tossing our bait, the last time we tried this spot one other time, and it was like instantly down poles. So this one we tried it. We went out at 6 a.m. We got to pick a time and everything. He asked me what I want to do. I'm an early bird. So we went out at 6 a.m, got bait around 7, lines in by 8. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, like, boom, one pole, and then boom, another one. And Eric was trying to get videos up. I said, bro, you got to help me. He's like, no, you got to catch them all this time. I'm like, dude, I can't set the hook on like 5 different poles. I want to say we got like 10 that day. And it was great. It was phenomenal. And I told him, he's like, man, this is great. But when I do take out people, I hope they don't expect this each time. I was like, well, hopefully they understand, you know, it's trial and error with fishing. We just happen to get lucky. And we learned out the conditions. So it was
Walter knows about that.
Yeah.
yeah. It was trial and error, but thankfully it worked out great for us. Hey, that's how it is. So I told him, because around that area where we get our bait, there's a whole bunch of carp and stuff. So I even told him, I was like, look, for people, if you're not catching anything, hook up treble hooks and you can snag carp. They would love that too, because I love that. Just snagging the carps, it's so fun because they're just horrible fighters, but it's so great. So we did that a few times, and then we went to a different spot after the bite had died down. We was learning a lot of water more to help out him and stuff. And around like 10 o'clock, the bite died down and everything. So he went to a different spot, nothing. He's like, well, I had fun. I was like, dude, I had a blast. We can do this every day. I told him I'm signing up every week. Like, I told him, like, I'm doing this.
Good.
No, it was great. Like, that whole entire day, I can't say either me or Eric at the time didn't have a smile and was just talking about something. So it's a complete different type of therapy when you can actually relate to them. Most with civilian and stuff, my therapist civilian, she doesn't understand most of the things. So it's like one ear out the other with her. With Eric, he's like, yeah, I get that. Because we was like in the foxhole together, you know? So.
Right on. And I was and you kind of answered my question and I'm not one to down the VA because the VA has come such a long way to the way it used to be. And it really was my therapist that kind of guided me in a way to do what I'm doing now. And that was, founding Operation Vets with Nets, because I was sharing, my stories with her and taking vets out and what kind of impacts it was having, not only for the vet, but for myself. Because, and some people just don't realize is it's just, especially, somebody who they might be dealing with PTS, that might be dealing with depression, which those two come together hand in hand. Various different things. Even the captains, even some of us captains go through that. and are dealing with that on a daily basis, we get our real therapy by trying to help you get your real therapy. And I was asked by one of our reporters that did a story on us down here, Katie Collette. She asked me, do you get anything out of, is it therapeutic for you,
Right,
taking folks out? And I said, absolutely. It's just as therapeutic. Sometimes I feel like I got more therapy because,
oh yeah,
for someone, getting somebody who doesn't catfish or has never catfished, and like Mike was saying, he learned so much from Walter. So when we're giving back and we're teaching somebody, and then they're taking what we've taught them and they're applying it, and they're doing and they're catching fish, and you're seeing that excitement, and they're catching PBs, that's therapeutic for us.
oh yeah.
So that is awesome. So so you said, and you can share as much as you want or as little as you want. But you said, you go to the VA, and obviously you go through their counseling, stuff like that. What is probably the biggest difference in when you're going in, sitting there talking to a therapist, than going on, out on a mission with Operation Best Witness?
Wholeheartedly, with a therapist, I know for me as a veteran and disabilities, my ratings and stuff are online. So I'm not gonna lie, I say what I have to say to keep my percentages, to keep my income. And like my therapist, me and her have a good relationship. She's the only woman I've ever like talked to and opened up to about anything, because she actually cares. And it's ironic, she knows one of my like homeworks that she gives me is to go fishing. Because she knows that's a huge therapy thing for me. So yeah, my homework the week that I went with Eric was to go fishing. So I can't wait to share that one with her.
I was going to say, have you had a chance to share that with her yet?
Not yet. I have therapy, I want to say, in 2 more weeks. But typically with most therapy, like, I'm not going to lie, I tell them what they want to hear. Because I know in the day, like, it's as cruel as it may sound, but I know in the day they don't really care. They're just doing what they want to do. They're just getting their fills and stuff. Some of them may care. Like, I found a good person that does care. But recent therapies and stuff, like, I was talking to one gentleman about coping with alcohol, because I dealt with depression heavy and I cope with alcohol and stuff like that. And so I went to AA, and he was telling me, I told him how I tried to take my life and everything with the help of alcohol. And one thing that kind of led me from him is he was like, oh, I know what your problem is. Because I told him, like, I openly always drunk. He's like, oh, it's just peer pressure. He's like, you wasn't really suicidal. You didn't want to do that. And I'm like, that's not what I'm here telling you, but okay. So that was my last session with him. It's just, I don't know how to really explain it. It's just, you tell them one thing because you're seeking help, but then they tell you, oh, no, that's not it. But for me, with like fishing, you can have the worst day ever, but let's say you catch a bluegill or something, that's a whole mood changer. Or just even getting snagged or anything, it's a whole game changer. It's instantly like, you're like, oh, I got one. Like the adrenaline and everything with it, it's so. And then if you go out, it's so peaceful. If you like nature and stuff, you get to sit out there, listen to nature, everything. Like fishing is very calming. That's my peace, really is. That's my peace right now is fishing. And
right on.
Oh man, it's great.
So, Mike, can you relate to anything that Isaac just talked about?
Very, very much. I mean, the relaxation part and the part where your whole mood will change that day. And I think going back to what I said earlier, to me, part of it is the gratitude that your organization and your boat captains are showing to veterans that, hey, it matters. What you did matters, and we care enough to spend some time with you and allow you to have a great day out on a boat fishing and relaxing. To me, that is a huge,
so rewarding.
Thank you. A huge thank you for something we didn't necessarily sign up to do to get a thank you for, but it's always nice to hear somebody say, hey, we appreciate you. And your organization definitely shows me that we are appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's what I like to hear. It's because this organization is really, it's no single person that makes this organization what it is. It definitely ain't me. I'm just the one dealing with all the paperwork nightmares. It's really it's our captains, and we also have a new program which I'll talk about briefly in a bit, and I don't know, just a couple minutes before we close things out. Is our ambassador program. There's a lot of folks that we have our captains that are taking and doing trips, but we have other folks that want to volunteer and help in other ways. And that's our ambassador program. We've just recently stood that up. So it allows other people to give back to the organization and help, if they feel that this is a worthwhile organization to grow, then we want to have a place for them. And so that's where we stood up the ambassador program. So if anyone on here is interested in becoming a volunteer captain or one of our ambassadors, all you have to do is go to, let me see here, there it is, www.operationbetswithnets, and we'd glad to talk with you and see where your interests are, because that's key as well. Is once we do get ambassadors, and we're fine tuning this program, it's all new. Is we want to be able to put people where they excel at, or where they like to volunteer their services. Some might be multimedia, some might be, like, we've got one young lady who's our events coordinator and our volunteer coordinator. She's trying to put her hands in a little bit of everything. Christy, she's just like a master of all these trades. And hey, I'm all for it, and I just don't want her to get overwhelmed, or anybody else at that. So both you guys, so if there are some vets that are watching or may watch this later, what would you say to those guys about the organization and about your experience with us? So you go first, Michael, so you guys don't step on yourselves.
I'd say sign up. You will have a fantastic day on whatever boat you're on. If Walt is any example of the other captains that are out there, you're going to have a phenomenal time with a very knowledgeable fisherman. You'll probably learn something. You'll have a blast. You'll relax, and just know that, hey, my service meant something to somebody, and an organization is here to thank you for what you did. And if you don't sign up, you're foolish. Anything that's free doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be worth something. Your free is worth more than I could ever express.
Right on. What about you, Isaac?
Honestly, to tell off from that, I say legit, one vet to another, this is the program. Like, honestly, this is the program, and I'm very grateful for my experience with it. I would say to tell off him, if you don't sign up, you're missing out upon yourself. This program, and I'm very, once again, grateful. This program, like, y'all actually take the time, and for a day for us on the water or not, y'all actually take the time, reach out to us, stuff like that, contact and communicate with us. And it's all organized too. That's the best part. It is organized. I was told, hey, this is the day. I was asked what time would I be available and stuff. And to get out, like, honestly, I say sign up for it to get out wherever you're at. If you want just like 5-6 hours of peace and excitement, thrill, I say sign up for this. Absolutely. To enjoy nature, be on the water, absolutely.
Man, I got the memory of a lifetime, because I got the biggest fish I've ever had. And I got to get out on the boat with Walt at the same time. So for me, it was a win-win-win.
Awesome. We got about let me see here how long we got. We got about 5.5 minutes. So let me ask you real quick, Mike, because I see something. You guys look like the Bobbsey twins.
We didn't plan this either. It wasn't just because we're fishing for a day.
And it was funny because I went to grab mine and it was in the dirty clothes. Share with everybody, because when we retire, we like to do different things. So share with, especially our Navy folks on here will understand this. But share with us what you're wearing, your shirts.
So his probably, you can see it better than mine, but it says RET best rate in the Navy. For Army, you guys have an MOS, so it's a number. But for us, our rate or our job, our MOS, is indicative of 2 or 3 letters, depending on what your job is. So for me as a builder in the Navy, I was a BU. That stood for builder. Walt was an HM, which stood for hospital corpsman, and OS for operations specialist. So everybody's got a rate. When you retire, as you know, you become whatever you were, and then RET for retired. And I actually woke up from a dream one morning and told my wife, I just had this dream about RET best rate in the Navy. And she tells me, oh, you need to trademark that and put it on a shirt and sell it. And about a year and a half later, I had a trademark, so I now own RET best rate in the Navy, and I do it on shirts and hats for people that are retired from the military, and have had some great stories just wearing my shirt, and other people that see it. Where the heck did you get that shirt? And have given a lot of shirts and sold a lot of shirts that way.
I'm going to tell you what, if you want ball caps. Okay, because I would rock that ball cap.
Yeah, I want a ball cap. Yeah.
I will hook you up with Jamie and Rebecca over Carolina Lake Weights. They do a phenomenal job with embroidery. And a matter of fact, here we go. So right before CatCon last year, which is the catfish convention, I got this shirt to wear. Plus, we've got our other shirts. But I asked Rebecca if she would, and she embroidered this for me for a shirt, and she brought it to CatCon for me. But they do ball caps. They do all kinds of embroidery work. They do decals. I mean, they're a phenomenal company. I don't even look at them as a company. They're family to me. And I'm telling you, if you're looking to get ball caps,
well, I'm almost out, so I do need to reorder. So if you've got their information, I definitely take it. I do a little price shopping because I have somebody, but if they can do a good job and do it at a lower price, I'd definitely take the information.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll get that information to you. I didn't know you had the ball caps because I would have bought one of the ball caps. My wife yells at me because she goes, you only have one head, but you got like 50 ball caps. I mean, I've got sitting up here just in my office, and then I got like 4 or 5 in my truck on the dashboard. But I got Oliver Anthony, which he was a supporter of ours, one of our sponsors, Power Poles. They sent me one.
What size cover do you wear?
My head's small, so yours are snapbacks or
you're lying.
Well, they're not snapbacks, but they only come in 2 sizes: small, medium, and then large, extra large. So
I'm probably saying a medium.
Okay, all right, I'll send you, Rich.
Cat Mama Industries.
Oh wow, cool.
Wow.
They sent me one. Hummingbird. I've got.
Yeah, you do have a lot of hats.
Oh my God, they're all over, and so
I used to wear hats. I got a lot of hair now, though. It don't quite look good on me. It don't look good on me.
Rich, let me ask you, because you said you have people in tech. Are you nationwide? Is your organization everywhere?
We are in 24 different states. We have
amazing.
over registered. We have 63 captains.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So Isaac, what state are you in?
I'm in Indiana.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm in Indiana.
And how long ago did you start the organization, Rich?
October of 21, in the heart of COVID.
Wow.
Dang.
Okay. You've done very well.
Well, it's really not me. It's the whole team.
No, I understand that, but I mean, somebody had to get it started. You got to start it. And
I love the idea on it. I do. I salute to you for that. I love the idea behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been a blessing for me to do this. I know my wife, she gets so tired of hearing about fishing. I pulled the boat up to the house yesterday, the wheelchair boat that we're working on, because I had to do some stuff, and she comes
You
home
okay,
from
dog?
shopping. What the heck's the boat doing out there? Well, I'm doing some work on it. When's it going back to the storage? In a couple of days, I'm going fishing with Walt Friday morning to test everything. And but yeah, but yeah, as much as she busts my chops and gets on my case, when she comes to a lot of our events and she volunteers at a lot of our events and she sees the impact, so she knows. She
She's got to
knows.
be very proud of you.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in my mind that she is. Um, but she told me next week, because next week we're going to Vegas next Tuesday through the following Sunday to visit family. My father-in-law lives out there, and to celebrate our anniversary a few weeks early.
Happy anniversary.
Happy
Thank you.
anniversary.
Thank you. And she said, you better not answer one email, one text. So everybody for my team that's on here, guys, you ain't gonna be able to get a hold of me. So I'll have my points of contact for folks to reach out to while I'm gone. But and I really thought, man, there's the Hoover Dam over there. There's probably some good fishing. I thought about that. I said, oh, she would kill me. She would drown me in the Hoover Dam. So all right, guys. Well, it looks like it's about that time. I truly appreciate you guys taking some time out of your busy schedule, and Isaac, you running back from class to jump on.
I said I'll be here by 8:30.
Well, heck, I see you almost on a daily basis. So, but I appreciate once again your guys' service. I'm glad you were able to share your journey with your captains and with the organization and what kind of impact it had on you guys. And if you feel like volunteering, sign up for our ambassador program, or if you want to go back out again, just fill out another request. We'll get you back out there. And that's the one thing that's what I hate is if it was up to me, I'd just be, all right, we'll match folks up and everybody, all the paperwork that's required for me to track is a nightmare. But that's okay. It's all worth it in the end. Any last things, Walt? Any last words from you, bud?
Actually, yeah. So Michael, I didn't get a chance to tell you, but I want to tell you that your note that you sent me was really, really impressive and made an impression upon me that you would not believe. My wife was flabbergasted when she saw it. Nobody writes.
What you did impressed me, and I appreciate Rich starting the organization. That means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to all the veterans that have had an opportunity to be part of this, whether it's as a boat captain or as a passenger like myself. That day meant a lot to me, Walt, and I appreciate you and all that you did for me. Thank you.
You're welcome. I had more fun than you did. I guarantee it.
Isaac, any last things from you, buddy?
For me, most definitely, you'd be seeing my paper a lot. I had an absolute blast, and then it was probably peaceful. I get away. I'm sorry, but I get away from my dog at times. He's always on me. He doesn't understand he's a big dog. But I had an absolute blast. You would definitely be seeing it, if not every week, but maybe weekly. And then I reached out to your Facebook page on getting me a jersey. So hopefully soon I'm going to get me one. And then next time I'm out, I'll be in photos with the jersey.
Yep.
I'm excited
Matter
for
of
that
fact,
one.
those jerseys should be, I'm hoping they arrive by Saturday.
Sweet.
So then I could get them all packaged up and labeled and get them in the mail Monday. So I don't have to worry about it when I get back. But yep. Because you got one of the team jerseys with your name on it, right?
That's what I'm. Ordering.
Yep. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to sit and share your journey with us. I appreciate all my captains and the team that come on board and folks from our ambassadors out here. I appreciate everything you guys do, and thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys stay blessed, and we'll be talking to you later, Bruce. All right, guys.
Thanks.
Sounds amazing.
Have a great